Рафал, привет, как
Yes.
меня слышно, как у вас дела?
Хорошо.
Я хотел в первую очередь спросить, как ситуация у вас с нашими беженцами? Много ли сейчас у вас их осталось и как вообще общий настрой?
У нас, ты знаешь, у нас осталось 240 тысяч человек. Так
Мгм.
нам говорят все специалисты. И вот, даже все в порядке. Но у нас нет руководительства национальной, у них нету стратегии никакой.
Мгм.
И нам нужна стратегия от эдукации, ты знаешь, от
Мгм.
образования. И вот.
Я просто, знаешь, хотел узнать, дело в том, что ряд стран уже сворачивает программы поддержки украинцев, наших граждан, и я вот слышал из
Да.
новостей, в Варшаве вы тоже отменили бесплатный проезд для украинцев. Это проблемы какие-то с бюджетом или что там с расходами?
Да, потому что, ты знаешь, у нас нет денег. Ты знаешь, что нет денег, европейских денег нет. Наш национальный руководитель, для них мы все ворог. И
Мгм.
это очень трудно с ними говорить о деньгах, потому что мне было нужно поменять эту децизию. Но вот все нормально. Тогда как нам нужно думать, что мы будем делать, это только проблема стратегии, потому что
Мгм.
нам нужно подготовить школы, подготовить все, что говорим об образовании, и так точно, что мы говорим я тебе скажу по-английски, это будет
Мгм.
раньше. The problem is that because there is no strategy,
Мгм.
of the government, then it means that we need to do everything on our own, and that's why
Мгм.
it is problematic. Because we have a strategy in Warsaw, but there is no strategy, national strategy, so that there are sort of different approaches in different cities. But we're trying to cope, and the only problem is that they're just giving us money when we have an invoice, that for like feeding people and so on. Then there is an invoice, and then they pay for it. But if we have to prepare the city for a longer period, then the government doesn't provide any financing. That's why we had to change the decision about the public transportation. Now everything depends on the European Union and how much
Мгм.
money they will, whether there will be money coming to Poland and especially to cities.
No, so it means that EU doesn't help enough for Warsaw, right?
Not yet, no, because they don't have additional funds. They are now thinking about some additional money, but and probably most of them will just simply go to the central government.
Mhm. Mhm. So it also means that central government, that Duda and his government doesn't really help in frame of current situation.
Yes, they just left us. I mean, the problem is that they're pushing all the responsibility our way. So they're saying, you're responsible for schools, you're responsible for
Mhm.
dealing with all the city services, and you have to do it with your own budget. And
Mhm.
they only pay small invoices, when we feed someone or when we have a proof that we've transported someone somewhere from the reception center somewhere else, then they pay for it. But of course, when I have 12-15% more of people in my city, then of course this is a strain on everything, on water, on sanitation, on
Mhm.
public transportation, and they don't pay for that, no.
Mhm. I heard a statement of Pavel Shafernaker. He's a deputy of Ministry
Yeah.
of Internal Affairs. That refugees cost too much for country. It's billions, and programs of help is closing now, and it says so. It's going on in this way. This news are going good for Russian propaganda.
The only problem is that when you work with Schefernaker on a sort of like on a direct basis, it's going rather fine. But whenever something gets political, then it gets much tougher. But this is just because the government doesn't like me and they don't like local mayors. So they try to make our life miserable. This is more a policy of the national government against cities than anything else. I will just give you one example. They lowered taxes again,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in the middle of the crisis, which is completely crazy. But that's what they're doing, and of course that means that I have less money.
Mm-hmm.
So each year I will get more or less 200 million euros less, not more, and I should have been getting more because of the crisis. But this is pure politics, Polish internal politics.
I know that you will have elections soon, and I hope that I can help you and you can count on me in this regard. I think that if you can impact on your internal politics in Poland, if I will help you in this case. I know that our presidents, I know that, you know, Zelensky work with Duda really mutual, but I think that we, as a mayor of the biggest cities, we can collaborate together, and I can help your party on next elections, like PR or something like that.
Fantastic. I mean, of course. I mean, let's do it because this is important, you know, to also demonstrate that we work together all the time. So thank you very much for that offer. And as I've said, you know, the problem is that you know, everything is about strategy and about solutions. Because I will give you just one example on education. I told the Minister of Education, listen, we cannot accept 80,000 kids in our schools. So let's open our schools for those who are most assertive and ready to do it, and the rest should be on an online platform, on the Ukrainian educational platform. And that's the strategy we had in Warsaw. But the national government said, just open your schools, and you know, the online platform is not our business. So now we have to pressurize them to adopt that strategy because, you know, we've accepted 20,000 Ukrainian kids to our schools and kindergartens. We can accept another 7,000, but we cannot do more. We should be investing in online solutions for all the rest who still want to be in the Ukrainian program. So those are the real problems, that the government just improvises, you know, responds to what's happening now, but doesn't think about the long-term planning.
Mm-hmm. I think, well, in my opinion, I think that Duda is not professional in this regard. I know he has been in Kiev recently and he made statements in our parliament, but I don't see that he has a great will to change the situation as I see now.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you know, Duda is still, you know, Duda is president, so he's mostly dealing with foreign policy because the real problem is the government and Morawiecki, because those are the guys running the show. But when it comes to dealing with the problem of refugees in Poland internally, they are not doing much. And then that's, of course, the biggest problem that we have. And on top of that, as I told you, you know, at the beginning, you know, they were working with us hand in hand, although they were trying to shift responsibilities our way. But now it's just getting political because, you know, the closer to the elections, the closer they will think about creating problems for me and for my party more than anything else, because that's going to be their priority. And they are going to use the budgetary questions in order to make our life difficult.
In fact, how our refugees behave, I heard many different stories. Can you honestly say without stopping? Because I know that there are a lot of complaints about some of our citizens.
I mean, there are some specific problems, for example, with when there's like a lot of Roma families coming to one place, you know, that sometimes there are problems and a bit of tension when they live with other Ukrainian families, when they're only women and kids. The real problems are just, you know, that our services are really stretched, but that's just because of not enough, you know, not enough doctors, not enough psychiatrists. And similarly in schools, you know, we don't have enough teachers who speak Ukrainian or Russian. So we are trying to employ Ukrainian teachers from among the refugees, but of course we still do not have enough. So we do have problems in certain fields. Our biggest problem is that, you know, the refugees are with us, with our families. And the government does not foresee any strategy to create any kind of reception centers for the future. And now, you know, many families say that they could do it for another month or 2 or 3, but not indefinitely. So that's why I make this plea to the European Union, that the European Union makes a relocation scheme so that they will be ready to accept some of the refugees which are in Warsaw in other parts of Europe. A problem, if there was a strategy in Poland and then in Europe that we could relocate a bit more people around so that they do not concentrate only in cities. That's number one. And we need a relocation scheme. Then if we had a strategy, overall strategy, what to do with education, healthcare, and so on. And then, of course, there is a question of financial help, and it's the European Union which should help.
And the other problem is that oil prices is growing. It's growing because of cancellation of Russian gas. So this is also a big problem.
Yeah.
How to deal with this? This is big problem. The prices in stores are growing, the commodities are growing, everything is growing. So it's a big problem for us. I don't know. Was it really right decision to cancel it now?
Well, the problem is that yes, we have, the prices are going up like crazy. And that also impacts our budget, and especially when it comes to public transportation. This is like really, sort of killing us. And I wanted to raise the price of tickets for all the inhabitants in order to deal with that. But unfortunately, my city councillors said that they will not agree for any rises in prices before the election. That's why we had to change the decision on transportation for free.
I have seen a video how Russian ambassador was correctly doused with paint. I hope this activist will not be held accountable. So Russians should know that they are not safe in Poland and Europe.
Yeah. And we told the Russian ambassador on different occasions that because of what Russia does in Ukraine, that he should not feel safe and that he should not make provocations, because he wanted to make a provocation and lay the flowers in front of the Russian soldiers' graves on the 9th of May.
No, he got what he really deserved, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I have one bad news also for you. It's news from our intelligence. I just met with our secret service yesterday, and I heard that Russia could launch a new step in this war, and if it will happen in Kiev direction, so there will be more refugees, and they will come for our prediction to Warsaw, and this is it could be around more than 3 or 5 million people. So I'm really afraid that Warsaw will not handle with such a number of people. That is the problem.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're saying to the government, and that's what we're saying to the European Union, that, we are full at capacity, and if there is a second wave, then we are going to really have problems, and then that's why we appeal for help in Europe. Because, our government and Duda and Morawiecki said that, we do not need any reception centers, and they're selling the behavior of the Polish people as their own success, and it's not their success. And of course, if there is a second wave, then we would need more money and reception centers, because then, we don't have accommodation. Mm-hmm. So that might be a problem. You're right, absolutely right.
So, but now you are full of refugees, as I understand.
Yes.
So, do Polish people trust our media?
Well, I mean, we have our own reporters from independent outlets, and that's what we rely on, because, not that many people rely on Ukrainian sources. But of course, there is a lot of propaganda everywhere.
May I ask you something? I have heard your interview in your outlets, media tabloids, and when in past you have called you like idiots. What is it It was a highlight. So you know why? It's a joke because some people call me like that too.
Okay.
So it's funny.
Yes.
It's
Sometimes it happens, you know.
yeah. Thank you, Rafał.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Дякую.
I will help you. I will help you on next elections, and everything will be good. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Благодарю.
Спасибо.